Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the business edition. Before we dive on into the news, if you are looking to switch around your mobile carrier, consider looking at Mint Mobile. I switched these guys back in December, January-ish, very end of December. It was my Christmas present, all right? It was like Christmas, in fact. And I'm getting 3 gigabytes a month for $15 a month, which is actually quite an incredible deal because the greatest selling point for me, they don't limit your hotspot. That's one of the few reasons I have a smartphone. So I can go out to a park, get my writing done, connect to a hotspot, and upload my stuff into the server. And theirs is by far the best external service I've used, and very happy with the service so far. So definitely consider looking at them, tlm.li/mm. Now on to the business news. Apple promises App Store expansions to 20 new countries starting next month. So wherever you're getting all of your Apple stores here, they do have a list of new countries they will be expanding into. Afghanistan, Gabon, I'm looking at all this going, aren't there a lot of hacker groups in some of these, like Iraq, Libya? Do we really want these guys feeding things into the Apple Store? I don't know. But anyway, if you are in these 20 countries, you will have access now to the App Store, both the ability to sell apps in the App Store and presumably to download from the App Store. I mean, I don't use Apple products. I do have my MacBook Air here that's going pretty good, but I don't connect Apple accounts to it. I install a couple little free software on it just for testing purposes, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So anyway, with all of that being said, be aware of that. Next, we have reports Google and LG do not want Qualcomm's super expensive Snapdragon 865. This is the chip we reported on it when it first came out. They're like, hey, we got this 5G thing figured out. Our new chip, integrating 5G into the chip. The problem is it jacks the price up for the chip way high. Not everybody wants a 5G phone. I don't want a 5G phone, but the Snapdragon 865 has 5G embedded in it, and it causes it to be super expensive. And I find it hilarious that now the cell phone market's going to go, whoa, guys, this is getting too expensive. I mean, I haven't seen Samsung or Apple. Samsung and Apple's going, oh, yeah, jack these guys up, man. The prices went up even higher, guys. We can bust $1,500 to $2,000. I mean, I know the Librem 5 phone beat us to the $2,000 phone, and the thing can't even make phone calls, really. But anyway, the Qualcomm chip does have that integrated 5G, but several companies are saying, you know, we don't want this. We want good, high-quality, flagship-level phones without the excessive cost of this type of chip. And so actually, many of them for their next flagships are going with an older chip because this is just too expensive. Very interesting. All right. Google Play Store, again, hides several pieces of malware. I think the total downloads was like, I think it was either 1.7 million devices were hit by these 24 children's games and 32 utility apps. Several thousand. You guys remember, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I forget exactly when it was, where we talked about there is the Google, is it like the Advanced Protection Program, the Google APP. I'm signing up for Advanced Protection. I can't install anything except what comes in our purely, highly curated App Store. The App Store is where all the malware is. The App Store is where all the malware is. Go to F-Droid. F-Droid, by the way, they have independent security consultants audit everything in F-Droid. Download it from F-Droid and sideload it. Far safer than downloading random stuff in here. You know, there's another advantage of using F-Droid to download apps on your phone. If you're looking for like a flashlight, I don't know why you would be, because I think every phone comes with that now. If you're looking for a flashlight though, and you go to the Google Play Store, flashlight, you get 15,000 links, and whoever bought their way to the top is installing their own personal malware on your device. You go to F-Droid, there's really only a couple of them. Very easy to choose from. You can look at it and decide based on the features, not decide based on who paid Google the most for being there, or who has the most SEO, or who had the best marketing campaign, or whatever other reason, and you have a few enough options you can choose rather than there's so many here, let's just take the first because that seems to be what everybody's downloading. That's how this happens. That's how this happens. There's too many choices, there's too many options, and Google cannot audit them all. And so 1.7 million devices had backdoors and malware installed on them because of this. Oh, look at this. Let me go early access. Yeah. Like, why do people download this type of stuff? Cooking delicious. Why do people, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too busy being productive to understand. But anyway. Speech recognition algorithms are racist. That's right. All right, so this is actually a summary from an article that came out of the Journal for the Proceedings of the National Science, I can't even say that anymore, PNAS, all right? Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, which is a peer-reviewed scientific journal. You can actually get the journal article here. But what they looked at is they looked at speech recognition algorithms and found that obviously they work better for us pasty white Caucasian Americans, and they work the least for pretty much anybody else. African American males, white men, and women had error rates that were statistically indistinguishable, 0.21, 0.12. Rate for African American women averaged 0.3, while men it rose to 0.41. So white men and women definitely closer. The black men and women about twice as high as the error rate, like 1.5 up to 2 times as much error rate for black versus white. So apparently speech recognition is racist, so we need to ban it, please. I'll stand behind that. Why not? All right, an enterprise SSD flaw will brick your hardware after exactly 48,000 hours. This is several HPE model SSDs from HP. So SSDs, there is a vulnerability bug in some of these models that at the very point in time it hits 40,000 hours, it just stops. They're like, oh crap, our planned obsolescence was found. Bummer, roll them back. All right, there is firmware that corresponds to only like 206 days and 16 hours. So you install it, you're looking at it, day 205, I'm so glad I put that in. Day 206, I'm so glad I put that in. You wake up in the morning, everything's fried. Like, how did every single hard drive of my redundant system crash all at once? Because they were programmed to instantly die at 40,000. Whoops. Now, they're like, it's an error. Like, what causes such an error? It's like, oh, our program for programmed obsolescence failed on us. We carried the decimal point. We were supposed to carry out an extra decimal point. We forgot, and it just accidentally caused everything to break down. Now, if you are running these types of things, there is a firmware patch for it. You can follow through the article, find those firmware patches. But yeah, you can go ahead and patch that guy up. All right, on to all of these crazy, stupid infotainment systems. People, we need to ban these infotainment systems. Okay, these are excessively more dangerous than having a radio and a car GPS. Okay, they're like, oh, look at this, messages. Who needs to check their messages? Okay, you got your audiobooks, podcasts. Okay, I kind of understand those, like audiobooks, man, these things are so long. All right, messages, this should not be here. No messages need to be had on an infotainment system on a car. You should be driving. Okay, maps, I sort of get it. But there was a study that came out looking at this, and they found that Android Auto and Apple CarPlay can impair driving more than alcohol and cannabis. Okay, so you may as well be running around guzzling down a bunch of alcohol rather than having one of these stupid infotainment centers. And I agree with the people's ideas about this. The reason is there's no haptic feedback. When it's the radio, I don't have to be staring at my radio to make sure I hit the right button. I kind of know by feeling what the button does what. You reach over, oh, that's the knob. Oh, that's the knob. Oh, radio stations. I might glance over for a quick second, make sure I'm in the right general vicinity. But for the most part, I can operate the radio without actually stopping to look at it. Versus a flat touch screen, I gotta be staring at that thing to know what I'm doing. All right, and then they want to do all sorts of other fun things, and this thing indicates that there's 4 screens to cycle through. What do we need 4 screens for? Podcasts, audiobooks, music, maps. That's it. You don't need anything else. But here's where the results of the study. This is interesting. All right, so let's go through these guys. Let me look at what you guys can see here. All right, so overall reaction time slowing down. Drink drive limit. So at the very bottom of the screen here, we're going to roll these up. 12% drinking and driving. Now, drinking and driving has 2 issues. One is the reaction time. The other is there's double. Which lane's the right lane? So I get why drinking and driving is still worse, by the way. But as far as they're just measuring reaction times, if you're drunk, your reaction times are slowed by 12%. You're high, cannabis, 21%. So you guys, oh, drinking and driving would be bad, but I can get high and drive. No, you can't. You can't. You don't realize you're impaired, people. All right, a hands-free phone, 27%. Android Auto Voice, 30%. Texting, 35%. Apple CarPlay with voice, 36%. A handheld phone, 46%. Android Touch Auto, 53%. And Android CarPlay Touch, 57%. 12 to 57. 4 times worse reaction on Apple versus drunk driving on your delayed reaction times. This is why we need to get these stupid infotainment systems out of our cars and go back to a sane and reasonable radio. Done. All right, done. So those are our articles in the business news today. Let me know what you thought about all these. You can subscribe to the channel if you want, if you've not already done so. switchedtolinux.com/support if you want to help support the channel. And I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.